evening and welcome. I am Amarachi Ubani. Tonight, governors of the 36 states meet with President Buhari in Abuja over security challenges facing the country. Say forum is yet to take decision on state policing. Court orders INEC to issue certificate of return to former governor of Imo State, Okorocha, as senator-elect for Imo West Senatorial District. Federal High Court orders Dar Communications and the National Broadcasting Commission to maintain status quo in the case between them, pending a hearing on June 13, 2019. And it's blame game as Russia and US warships come close to collision in the Western Pacific Ocean.
On business news tonight, London Stock Exchange hosts EcoBank for the successful issuance of its $500 million Eurobond on the international market.
On sports news tonight, world number 2 Rafa Nadal aims to win 12th French Open title after beating Swiss rival Roger Federer in the semi-final.
And from Abuja, federal government gives assurance on air pollution control as the European Union and Oxfam calls for urgent and practical action to address issue.
A few days after the National Human Rights Commission recommended, among other things, the option of state policing to the president, state governors say they're undecided on the matter. The governors mentioned this today after a meeting with President Buhari at the villa in Abuja. Also present at the deliberations were all service chiefs and the Inspector General of Police. Our correspondent, Gloria Mizuki, reports.
Governors of the 36 states arrived at the council chamber, both past and newly sworn in. It's the first security meeting they would be convening with the President, Muhammadu Buhari, after the inauguration. The meeting concluded within 2 hours. After the meeting, which was held behind closed doors, the chairman of the Nigerian Governors Forum and governor of Ekiti State spoke on the outcome of the meeting.
We felt as chief security officers in our respective states, it's also important for us to at least keep Mr. President abreast of the enormity of the challenges we're facing. Militancy in the Delta, insurgency, cultism. So we discussed extensively all of these issues. In conclusion, we agreed that these issues will be much more comprehensively dealt with.
He also disclosed the stance of the governors on the issue of state police.
We have not taken a position because experiences vary. There are governors and states where their experience does not necessarily lend itself to a more devolved policing arrangement to the states. But there are also states where there are agitations for this, and their own governors too have a view that that will work better in such states. Of course, there are the economic issues relating to that. Do we have the capacity at the state level to fund state policing? Those are all issues that will come in play.
On the $1 billion earlier taken by the federal government from the excess crude account to address security in the country, the NGF chairman says the fund has been well spent. This expanded meeting is one the governors are hoping would bring significant improvement in the nation's security situation. The governors are also hoping to reconvene at a comprehensive National Economic Council meeting here at the State House to further address the issue. From the presidential villa, Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
In the meantime, some governors who belong to the main opposition, the People's Democratic Party, are advocating a review of the federal government's revenue-sharing formula so that it puts more money in the hands of states that generate the highest revenue. One of the resolutions the governors took in Abuja after about 5 hours of meeting with members of the party's National Working Committee. Briefing journalists after the coastal meeting, the chairman of the forum also challenged the federal government to list states alleged to have diverted local government funds.
The forum deliberated on a few issues of national importance. Firstly, we dealt with the allegation of alleged diversion of local government funds by state governments, and we condemn it in very strong terms. We, as governors of the PDP, we want to make it clear that no PDP governor, no governor elected under the platform of our party, is involved in this allegation of diverting local government funds for other state activities or for whatever purpose. In our case, we know that the reverse is the case. It is state governments, our governments that have been supporting, subsidizing, and funding state local governments. And so we call on the federal government and the agencies that have been making this allegation to name the state governments and possibly even tell us the dates and the people who were in charge at the time these alleged diversions took place. And also we call for a review of the revenue sharing formula.
A federal high court in Abuja has ordered the Independent National Electoral Commission to immediately issue certificates of return to the immediate past governor of Imo State, Mr. Okorocha, as the senator-elect for the Imo West Senatorial District. Justice Okorocha made the order in a judgment on the suit filed by Mr. Okorocha, challenging INEC's decision to withhold his certificate of return after he was declared winner of the February 23, 2019 National Assembly election in the Imo West Senatorial District. He also described INEC's action as lawless and arbitrary.
More than 3 months after the general elections and receipt of certificates of return by all elected public officers, the immediate past governor of Imo State, Mr. Okorocha, is to get his certificate. A federal high court in Abuja has ordered the Independent National Electoral Commission to issue the certificate of return to the former governor. Justice Okon, who gave the order in a judgment on a suit filed by Mr. Okorocha, held that once the declaration is made under Section 68 subsection C of the Electoral Act, INEC has become functus officios and INEC has no lawful authority to withhold the certificate of return for any reason whatsoever. He held that the issue of duress is unknown to both the Electoral Act and the Constitution of Nigeria. Justice Abang ruled that Mr. Okorocha remained elected subject to the outcome of the ongoing proceedings of the National Assembly Election Petition Tribunal. He therefore ordered that INEC shall forthwith publish and circulate the name of the plaintiff as the senator-elect representing Imo West Senatorial District, and also issue Mr. Okorocha the certificate of return as the senator-elect representing Imo West Senatorial District. The judge also awarded the cost of 200,000 against INEC in favor of Mr. Okorocha, while also ordering each of the 7 defendants in the suit to pay Mr. Okorocha 100,000 naira as damages. The judge ordered the defendants to pay the cost personally to Mr. Okorocha before taking any further step in the case. Justice Abang said the cost awarded against INEC will serve as a deterrent to it from taking any future unlawful action. INEC had refused to issue a certificate of return to former Governor Okorocha on the grounds that its returning officer, who presided over the election, complained that he declared the result under duress. Amaka Okafor, Channels Television News.
Meanwhile, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has been reacting to the court order, asking it to issue a certificate of return to former Imo State Governor Okorocha. A statement by the INEC National Commissioner in charge of Information and Voter Education, Mr. Festus Okoye, says the Commission overriding consideration is the safety of its ad hoc staff, electoral officers and collation returning officers, and it is worried that if electoral impunity is allowed to flourish, any individual can harass, intimidate and put the Commission's officers under duress, procure a favorable declaration and be rewarded with a certificate of return. A Chief Press Secretary to the INEC Chairman, Mr. Rotimi Oyekomi, speaks on the Commission's response to the court order.
We are aware of that order as well from a high court in Imo State. But of course, there's this principle of latest in time. The one of the Abuja Federal High Court is the latest in time. And we have a reputation of obeying court orders. So the commission will meet and take a decision, and that will be final. Our statement states very clearly that we will meet and do the needful. That is the commission comprising the chairman of the commission and the 12 national commissioners, and do the needful. And why we are not meeting immediately is that the commission is, as I speak, conducting reviews of the 2019 general elections. And we have 6 geopolitical zones, and the national commissioners supervise 3 to 4 states in the geopolitical zones, and they are right there. So they will convene, meet, and take a decision. But I also said something, that this commission is known for obeying court judgment or court orders.
Staying with the courts, Justice Eko of the Federal High Court has ordered the parties in the case of Dark Communications and the National Broadcasting Commission to maintain the status quo pending a hearing on June 13, 2019 for the NBC to show cause why the release sought by Dark Communications should not be granted. Dark Communications had filed a motion seeking an ex parte order of interim injunction in its favor, restraining the NBC from blocking, jamming, or stopping its broadcast and airing of news, views, documentaries, or any other legitimate broadcast material that is usually associated with television, radio, or social media broadcast, pending the hearing and determination of the motion on notice. Dark Communications alternatively asked the court for an order to maintain status quo ante bellum as at May 30, pending the hearing and final determination of the motion. The plaintiff also told the court that since the emergence of the present government, it has been under close surveillance and undue monitoring of its operations, which wrongly believes that the plaintiff or applicant had been too supportive of the immediate past government. According to the motion, Dark Communications also said that on April 16, 2019, agents of the federal government in a Gestapo-like manner attacked and pulled down the 2 buildings and gates leading to its operational headquarters. Dark Communications also told the court that shutting down its broadcast services will deny majority of Nigerians access to information and its teeming workers of their means of livelihood. The judge adjourned the matter till June 13th. Meanwhile, the planned arraignment of the former Federal High Judge Justice Muhammad Samia for alleged 200 million naira bribe suffered a setback today following the absence of the accused. The Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission is accusing Justice Samia of allegedly demanding for the sum of 200 million naira as bribe from a politician, Mr. Nnamdi Orji, to influence the outcome of a matter before the election petition appeal sitting in Owerri. At the resumed trial today, counsel to Justice Samia told the court that his client travelled abroad for medical treatment, but the counsel to ICPC frowned on the submission, arguing that the accused had been properly served the notice of arraignment and therefore had no valid reason for not being in court. After hearing the arguments from both counsels, the trial judge expressed his displeasure with the action of the defendant, noting that he seemed to be taking the court for granted and therefore warned the defense to ensure that he appeared in court on the next adjourned date of July 5th, 2019 for his arraignment. The Comptroller General of Customs has ordered an investigation into the assault of some civilians at a hospital in Gombe State on Thursday. Channels Television captured the moment where the prison officials attacked the innocent citizens who were calling attention to the death of their brother in prison custody. The victims had been demanding explanation over the illegal detention of their brother for over 3 years for alleged armed robbery without trial. Now, the Comptroller General of the Prison Service has constituted a team to investigate the incident and forward the report of findings to his office for immediate action. The prison's boss is promising that justice will be done and the rights of Nigerians protected against assault. In part 2 after the break, residents of Polububo community in Warri North Local Council take their protest to the Delta State government in Asaba over the burning oil wellhead in their area. Stay with us.